All right. Hello and welcome to the Carl Jackson Show, your daily dose of objective truth in a world of confusion and lies. We've got a lot to cover. Kamala Harris seems to believe that she has a future in politics. I'm convinced that it's absolutely over. We will talk about that. Also, DEI is dead. We will talk about that in today's programming as well. Success will be Trump's retribution. I'm going to speak on that, and obviously the border crisis as well. We have the new border czar that, frankly, hasn't even been put in place yet, already doing a better job than our former, or actually our current border czar, Kamala Harris. We'll talk about Tom Homan and a lot of the Democrats that are coming out and saying they're going to stand in the way of his mass deportation efforts and Donald Trump's mass deportation efforts, and it's simply not going to happen. So we're going to get into that. But first, let's start here. Kamala Harris seems to believe that she has a future in politics after she was totally blown away in this past election cycle. I want to play a couple of videos for you, and I'm going to offer my commentary on them. And I just want you to understand, Kamala Harris will not be the Democrat nominee in 2028. And the big part of that is donors, and she does not have the talent that a lot of politicians, including a Barack Obama, has. This is a lady that moved her way up the ladder, not because of her political skill, if you catch my drift. She just doesn't have the it factor. She's not a great campaigner. She's not a great candidate. She's not a great politician. And so I want to play some video for you that will help to prove this and to show you how deceptive her campaign was all along, because we found out that her campaign advisors, as a matter of fact, knew all along that she never led in the polls. Let's go to video clip Pod Save America, Gabe. Okay.
I would say, I mean, look, I am not media hater by any measure. And I think that, we women don't get far in life talking about double standards. So that's not the point. But I do think a narrative, 107 days, 2 weeks up because of a hurricane, 2 weeks talking about how she didn't do interviews, which, she was doing plenty, but we were doing in our own way. We had to, be the nominee, had to find a running mate and do a rollout. I mean, there's all these things that you kind of want to factor in, but real people heard in some way that we were not going to have interviews, which was both not true and also so counter to any kind of standard that was put on Trump that I think that was a problem. And then on top of that, we would do an interview, and to Stephanie's point, the questions were small and processy and about
dumb.
They were not informing a voter who was trying to listen to learn more or to understand. And I'm not here to say that the whole system was focused on us incorrectly. I'm just saying, again, of the things we need to explore as we move forward as a campaign and as a country, that does a disservice to voters. And, I think back and think we should have signaled more of our strategy early on about podcasts and who we were trying to reach. But we had a limited amount of time to reach the people we were trying to reach, and we were trying to go to them. But being up against a narrative that we weren't doing anything or we were afraid to have interviews is completely bullshit, and also took hold a little bit. And we just gave us another thing we had to fight back for that Trump never had to worry about.
Pluff.
Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? They had to fight back against the narrative that they weren't doing interviews, despite the fact that they waited 5 weeks to do an interview, to do a sit-down interview. And even when they did, she had to bring Kamala Harris, did Tim Walz along with her. She talks about the double standards that Trump didn't have to dealing with that type of narrative. What are you talking about? Trump was willing to sit down with virtually anybody ad nauseum in order to get his message out. He went on Joe Rogan. Kamala Harris didn't go on Joe Rogan. As a matter of fact, you guys advised against it and then tried to lie and say your schedules didn't align, so you couldn't make it happen. You talk about the Hurricane Helene, messing them up, and how the hurricane messed you up. You mean people losing their livelihoods, losing their homes, people dying that messed you guys up? Kamala Harris going to North Carolina and offering what was it, $750 to the people that had just lost everything. Meanwhile, she's paying millions of dollars to superstars that are already super wealthy for her campaign. That's Jen O'Malley. Not only is Kamala Harris's career over in politics, this lady's career might be over, even though she's trying to salvage that career. I want to go to another video. This is what James Carville had to say about the staffers. There's some language here, but we have it blanked out for you. But here's what James Carville, an old school political strategist, had to say. Cut number 15.
The vice president was thinking about going on Joe Rogan's show, and a lot of the younger progressive staffers pitched a hissy fit. Supposedly the campaign said that that wasn't the term de facto, but they did. When you put a campaign together and you hire young people to do work, let me tell you exactly what you tell these people, what I would tell them. Not only am I not interested in your opinion, I'm not even going to call you by your name. You're 23 years old. I don't really give a shit what you think. And let me tell you another huge error that's made, is when people said campaigns need to reflect progressive values. No, they don't. No, they don't. Campaigns are authoritarian by their nature. And if I were running a 2028 campaign and I had some little snot-nosed 23-year-old saying, I'm going to resign if you don't do this, not only would I fire that motherfucker on the spot, I would find out who hired them and fire that person on the spot. I'm really not interested in your uninformed, stupid, jackass opinion as to whether you go on Joe Rogan or not.
You know what James Carville gets? That some of these new younger staffers that don't get and Kamala Harris didn't get is basically children haven't grown up yet. Young staffers haven't grown up yet. They haven't lived in the real world yet. They need guidance. They need leadership. So when Kamala Harris is not projecting leadership, they offer all their ideas and all this kind of stuff, and it simply does not work out for them. Young people have not lived enough. They haven't experienced life enough. Again, they need guidance. They need leadership. Kamala Harris had absolutely none. And here she was at 60 years old, listening to ideas of children, because you know what? Leftists today really do act like children. And so that is in part why Kamala Harris lost. That's an old school political analyst, strategist, formerly working for Bill Clinton, that knows what he's talking about. Thank God the Democratic Party did not listen to him this time around. Also, let me tell you again, actually, let's go here real quick. Let's go to Kamala Harris. Clip number 8. Kamala Harris thinks she's going to make a comeback somehow.
It's not over. That fight's still in us, and it burns strong. And I know this is an uncertain time. I'm clear-eyed about that. I know you're clear-eyed about it. And it feels heavy. And I just have to remind you, don't you ever let anybody take your power from you. You have the same power that you did before November 5th. And you have the same purpose that you did. And you have the same ability to engage and inspire. So don't ever let anybody or any circumstance take your power from you.
I know what you're thinking. Jack Daniels or a blunt. That lady's career is over, and she was either drunk or high as a kite. Real quick, let's go to John Morgan, a donor, mega donor for the Democrat Party. I'm not even sure if we'll have time to play all of this. Let's go ahead and roll it.
In the sphere of love, the ego, the crazy, the commissions. I was at the White House for a dinner Friday night, talking to a lot of people, and I'm telling you, man, there's a lot of whispering. There's a lot of names about who got paid this, who got paid that. And a lot of people got rich on the back of donors trying to stop Trump. And I think this disqualifies her forever. If you can't run a campaign, you can't run America. And that would be the argument just day one. So it was terrible. I think she did a good job.
We can cut it there.
In the debate, I think she.
We can cut it there. If you can't run a campaign, you can't run America. John Morgan, listen, I don't know John Morgan personally, but he lives right here in the Central Florida area where I'm at, and I've seen him plenty. I've met plenty of people that know him and surround him. He is a lefty, all right, but from all accounts, from what I hear from people, he's an honest broker when he deals with people. There's some history there with John Morgan, but when he deals with particular people that work for him, everybody seems to love the guy. He's a straight shooter when it comes to the people that work for him and all that kind of good stuff. And he's a straight shooter when it comes to politics, even though he failed, thank God, on his mission to make weed recreational in Florida. Kamala Harris doesn't have a shot because donors will not back her again. Donors were backed into a corner in this year's election because Joe Biden left them no place else to go once he endorsed them. You had George Clooney, Barack Obama, Nancy Pelosi, Kamala Harris herself that imposed this soft coup on Biden, and they were stuck with Kamala Harris. Donors will not be stuck with Kamala Harris again. Stay tuned. We'll be back with more after the break. The story of MyPillow is a testament to faith and transformation. Mike Lindell, once battling addiction, found a new path when he embraced faith and began following Jesus. In gratitude, Mike is excited to share an exclusive offer with our listeners. Right now, the standard MyPillow is available for just $14.88, a savings that's too good to pass up. That's a limit of 10 per customer, so don't wait to take advantage of this amazing deal now with promo code Carl. Mike believes God gave him the idea for MyPillow in a dream, and it's designed with your comfort in mind. The pillow holds its shape and adapts perfectly to your unique sleep position, helping keep your neck aligned for the best night's sleep. And there's more. Take home a 4-piece kitchen set for only $25 and enjoy their new mattress topper for just $99.99. Or pick up the luxurious MyPillow bed sheets starting at $49.98. Visit MyPillow.com or call 800-858-0263. Use promo code Carl to unlock huge discounts. Don't miss out. Order today.